Yo, what's up, everybody? Hey, Hannah. Hi, Lux. I wanted to get on here before midnight so I didn't break my streak of going live like every day for the last, I don't know, couple, like month or something. Brandon Roberts just joined. What? Why are you on the alt? Oh, I usually go live on here and do like debates and stuff with random people. And just to be more safe, because look like I missed a huge spot shaving. Just to be more safe, because my main account got suspended twice. But yeah, I wanted to I wanted to get on here before midnight so I didn't break the streak. But then I saw I didn't have any sticker to put up on my screen saying Jesus is God. So unfortunately I had to decide in that moment of whether I get on. I didn't have enough time to make a new sticker. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna get on with no sticker this time. Guys, if you have any questions about the Catechism of the Catholic Church or the Bible, I'll try my best to answer them. Also, if you want to join as a guest, I'll be sending gift points to anybody that I accept as a guest. I have a couple hundred gift points to give away. Howdy, what's up, Bo? 116 people in here. Wow, guys. Only 82 likes. Can we tap the screen? We have more people in here than likes. Tap the screen, please. Share the stream also with a friend if they have any questions. You think they might have any questions about faith or God in general. How's reading the Catechism going? It's going pretty good. I've been skipping around a little bit, but then also want to read it front to back. 194 people in here. Thanks, guys. Everybody who sends in a rose or any gift will get a follow. But yeah, if you have any questions about the Bible, I'm going to try my best to answer them. I'm typing right now, letting somebody know I'm live. Cool. Thanks, Denny. And Danny. What's up, Danny? 234 people here. Wow, that's like I think a record for this my alt account. Any questions about the Bible, y'all? What's up, Adriana? Any if you want me to read you a favorite verse or story, let me know. What's up, narrating? Julie, thanks for the follow. Also, guys, I download all of these streams that I have debates with people on here, friendly, sometimes intense, but I upload them to my YouTube channel, which is linked in my bio. How was everybody's day? I like the bookmark. Yeah, I actually found that bookmark as a piece of litter when I was picking up trash. Romans 7. I don't know that one. Romans 7. So Romans is the first letter after the Acts of the Apostles. I'm trying to get the order of the Bible memorized. I used to hate reading. But yeah, so it goes Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts of the Apostles, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians. Right? That'll help me get places quicker. But now your bookmark is not marking the spot. Oh, I know what page I'm on. I did that the other day, though, and got very confused. Guys, it's like midnight. What are y'all doing up right now? Thanks, Julie. I really like the Catechism. I've been reading the Catechism on here more often. Any questions about Christianity, y'all, or Catholicism? It's kind of late, but I'll try my best to answer them. I'm on page, 35 of the Catechism. What's up, rocket ships? Anybody want to join as a guest? I'll be sending gift points into anybody who I accept as a guest. It's 12:03 right now. I had 2 live streams premiere, yesterday now on my YouTube channel. There's a little button for my channel in my bio if anybody wants to subscribe. And naming books of the Bible is cool, but can you name all the Goosebumps books? Well, I used to read the Goosebumps books as a kid. Are you a young earth creationist? No, but we're allowed to be if we want. In the Catholic Church, you're allowed to believe that God created the world in 7 literal 24-hour days. I don't know if that's exactly young earth creationist, but so I don't know if that's a false. I don't want to say that might be apples and oranges there, but yeah, in the Catholic Church, we're either allowed to believe in 7 literal 24-hour days of creation or theistic evolution. It's good to see this on here. A lot of people took God out of the equation. Yeah, out of the equation of their lives, and He will honor their request. Please don't subscribe to Young Earth B. What What are your views on the dating culture? I don't know exactly what you mean. Opinions on abortion? I have a sign right there. Pro-life sign. What's up, Zach? Panda Slayer in the house. Why should we care about the Old Testament literature, rules? Jesus abolished the old ways. He didn't come to abolish it. He came to fulfill the law, not to abolish the law. So no one was able to perfectly live out the law. See, the law was a curse. God made a covenant with Abraham 430 years before Moses received the law. The law was actually a curse. For it is written, whoever is hung on a tree is accursed. I'm not sure where. That might be in Deuteronomy 23:20. And Jesus Christ was crucified. But yeah, let's see. Let's check my memory here. I'm learning more verses, y'all. Deuteronomy 23:20. Let's see. Come on. Nope. You shall not demand interest from your countrymen on a loan of money or of food or of anything else on which interest is usually demanded. Nope, didn't get it that time. Tried our best. What's up, Zach? Shout out, Zach. One of my longest friends on here. Wait, what happened to the cross of St. Peter? It literally fell and cracked in half, so I took it down and put it back in the living room after I taped it. It was like a really heavy cross. I need to find a less heavy cross. Can you say happy birthday to my brother? Yeah, I'm going to sing happy birthday in Polish. 100 lat, niech żyją nam. 100 lat, niech żyją nam. Jeszcze raz, niech żyją nam. Come on. Niech żyją nam. Yay. There you go, Zach. Happy birthday to Zach's brother. I'm not sure of his name yet. What's up, Ethan? Is Ethan pro-choice? A woman's body is her choice. Right, well, but right, that's right. A woman's body is her choice. That's true. But if we're talking about the baby inside of her, that's not her body, White Claw. But if you'd like to join and talk as a guest, I'd love to accept any guests. But yeah, it's clear. I think it's according to Princeton University. I'm trying to think what source my friend Michael was using the other day, but yeah, life begins at conception. That's the consensus determined by scientists. So evolution isn't real. Well, I believe that if evolution is real, God had a hand in it. Rocket ships. We're allowed to believe that, but we're just not allowed to believe in atheistic evolution. Learn how to build the altar of Christ within your soul. My altar's right behind me, actually. Hey, Hannah. Yikes, check eBay, what? Not quite read the Jewish Bible and make that claim. Wait, what did the boss bub say? I don't know what they said. Trying to find, guys. If you have any questions, abortion is murder. Yep, amen. This is true. Infanticide is one of the 4 sins that cry to heaven for vengeance. Little Angel, hey, what's up? He says thank you. Thanks, Zach. Are you doing a Bible study? Not necessarily a Bible study. I don't know, Ethan, what would you call it? You said you finally burned your Bible today, so free and happy. Well, I felt the same way in 2016. See, God uses evil even in the end for his purpose. I had 2 copies of this, and in 2016, on the worst day of my life, in complete anguish and despair, instead of opening it up and reading it, which I had never done before, I decided to destroy it. I threw it against the wall, I ripped it up, I tore it apart, I literally boxed it as if it was 15 rounds, and I threw it away. Sacrilege. I committed sacrilege against the other copy, or with the other copy that I had of this. And I didn't realize it until years later, but only someone that was struggling with their faith would have done that, Otherwise, if I had lost my faith completely, I would have just thrown it away. But yeah, if I would have just opened it up and read it instead of doing that, I could have saved myself years of anguish. Because there's literally prayers in the Bible, like direct subheadings of chapters. I can't remember in which book right now that dealt with what I was going through at that time. I could not believe it. There's literally anything and everything you could ever need help with throughout sacred scripture and the sacred tradition of Holy Mother Church. I call these ecumenical discussions. Yo, that sounds fancy. But yeah, if I would have just opened it up and started reading it. Hey, what's up, Lily? How's your daughter? I'm very fond of Catholic heresies. Is modalism still considered a heresy? Yeah, definitely. 3 persons, 1 God, not 3 modes. I would like to get a copy. Where can I get one? She's good. Yeah, that's great. No kind of hate like Christian love. First of all, it's spelled Christian. You spelled Christine, like plantains or tangerine. But Calman, if you'd like to have a discussion or a debate about Christianity, I would love to talk with you about Christ. What's up, buddy? Wow, 1K likes. Thanks, everyone. Ethan actually sent me that. See, that's a bag Ethan sent me, though. We love them both. Choose life, but I repurposed it into a poster. Did you watch Jesus Revolution? No. Who hurt you? The world. We got the triple threat. The world, the flesh. And, oh, I didn't mean to. I actually didn't mean to. So, but I realized right as I did that, I was gonna be like accidentally with the giving the bird. Whoops. The world, the flesh, and the devil. That's funny that the devil was the middle finger. Oops. My bad, y'all. Have you read the sentence of... No, I have not. Tangerine. I'm not going to count that as a curse because I wasn't like actually intentionally like trying to like give somebody the middle finger. But in the summer, I thought like a loophole to cursing because I didn't we're not supposed to use obscene language. Colossians 3:8 was to like I could still give people the bird, but now I realized that's still obscene and vulgar. But in that instance, I don't. That's not what I was doing. It was like an accident. That's why I immediately like stopped. What's up, Jay? You should check them out. Definitely Catholic friendly. What do you think of that movies? What do you think of those movies? God's Not Dead. I just made a playlist, guys, for anybody struggling with their faith that likes rock music. It's every single one of Black Sabbath songs that have Christian themes in them. 41 out of their 65 songs have Christian themes in them or can help people struggling with different mental health issues. Check them out. Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath song After Forever specifically motivated me by the grace of God to read the Bible. But yeah, this is on my YouTube channel, linked in my bio. It's the 3rd playlist down. I made it. So that's cool, y'all. I just wanted to come hang out for a minute. Are tattoos sinful? A tattoo could be sinful if you got a tattoo of like some demonic entity or some IDOL, some like idolatrous tattoo. Like if you got a tattoo of a God or something, then it could be a sin. But otherwise, no, it's not considered a sin in the Catechism of the Catholic Church.
Hey Q, how you doing, man?
What's up? Oh no, am I Q?
No,
Dude,
you're
mystery
Q.
solved.
You're
I'm Q,
you're little
bro.
Q.
Now you know what I was memeing about, right? From like from 2020. Who's Q? Like that conspiracy or whatever. But anyway, how was your day?
My day's been okay. I've been sleeping most of the day. I'm still on the night schedule.
Big mood on that one. Big mood on that one. Yeah, I
Yeah, but
almost missed going live today. I was sleeping, catching up on rest the last couple days. Um,
I
so
know it
I
seems
feel
like
you.
you never sleep.
I had to catch up the last 2 days. Somebody said, "What made you become a Christian?" Um, God. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Rocket ships. Oh, rocket ships. That's cool. Your name reminds me of another song from Master of Reality on Into the Void. Uh, rocket ships. Rockets. I can't think of it, but it's about rocket ships. I can't think of the exact words. I was
Looking at
worried about you.
you digging into the Ozzy and the Black Sabbath.
What?
Nice.
Oh
I
yeah.
said, look at you digging the Ozzy and Black Sabbath.
Well, I mean, yeah. The only reason I read the Bible was because of Black Sabbath's record, Master of Reality, by the grace of God. So that's the reason I
Really?
read it in that moment. Yeah, I wouldn't have read it at that time unless that happened. Because I listened to Master of Reality and I was idolizing rock stars at the time. So their words meant more to me than what the Bible could say at the time, right? But when Ozzy said, "Is God just a thought?" Or is God just a thought within your head, or is he a part of you? Is Christ just a name that you read in a book when you were at school? And the whole song's to the unbeliever, telling them to believe in Christ, like the whole thing, the entire thing. It's not my subjective opinion. You could objectively read the lyrics to After Forever, and it's straight up a call out to the
Okay,
unbeliever.
I just have a question. What made you idolize them?
Well, my dad raised me up as like a rockin' household. You know what I mean? I've been to 10 Motley Crue shows, but I saw Ozzy once in 2010.
Nice. I'm jealous. Never got to see Ozzy.
Yeah, he's gonna go on tour again in like a throne, I guess, because he can't stand.
A rolling throne.
Yeah, and my my dad was like, no, they can't do him like Weekend at Bernie's. Don't make him go out. But honestly, though, he would think that's hilarious.
Hey,
Ozzy's
you
always
know
been
what?
more
If
than
I
happy
got
to
the
make
chance
himself
to
the
go
butt of the
see
joke.
him in a wheelchair, I would go see him.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Ozzy is so fun and funny and just real, you know.
yep, yeah. He's definitely he's the artist that I use most in terms of trying to connect secular material or art to the gospel because that's how was motivated to read the Bible. Once again, it wasn't the words.
Hmm.
It wasn't the words. It
How do
was
you try to connect how do you
well.
connect Ozzy to the Bible?
Well, what I was just getting ready to say, perfect timing. It flows right in. But so at the time, I was listening to all just like sad music constantly, like mostly rap, really just depressing stuff, all the time. And then I just had this switch where I listened to Dancing Queen, and I just by ABBA. And this is funny too because Abba means father, and that's what Jesus said to his father when he was praying as Abba, which is hilarious. But anyway, we'll get there at the end. But and I listened
Yeah.
to Dancing Queen, and I'm just like, I had this nostalgia for this time I'd never been to, but like just remembered going back to the music I listened to growing up with my parents before I like moved off to college. And I just started listening to a little bit more rock. And then, like May of 2022, I started listening to Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. And you know what it starts with, right? It literally
Down,
starts with
down, down,
it.
down, down,
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
down, 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 down.
I was
Sweet
empty,
leaf.
on a down. But so,
Yeah, sweet
and
leaf.
the entire record, minus the first song, is dedicated to God, and then the first song is just entirely a ballad to a certain herb, which I just thought was hilarious. But the second song is After Forever, so they go from an ode to an herb to After Forever, which is about to the unbeliever but to believe in Christ. Like just so funny.
Well, that's
But
like
so
snowblind. Um,
Snowball. Oh man, that's when
that's about cocaine.
that's what. Oh, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about that, but yeah,
Oh,
that's when they
I'm
were starting to
sorry.
go down. You're good. That
No,
that's when they were starting to go downhill. Their first three records were the ones that originated heavy metal, but Volume 4, yeah, they spent more money on substances than on the production of the album. And you could see they actually thanked the
what successful
Coca-Cola
band
company.
didn't?
Well, it did well, it was a slow descent into oblivion after that, but the first three records are the originators of heavy metal. Um, it's undeniable. Black Sabbath, Paranoid, and Master of Reality. But anyway, so that's how I connected back to the Bible. Is I started listening to that After Forever. It says, is Christ just a name, or is Christ just a name that you read in a book when you were at school? And that felt like it was just speaking directly to me. Um, And why I say it was by God's grace that motivated me to read the Bible. It's not that it was it's not like that it was anything that Ozzy or Geezer Butler, who wrote the lyrics, did. It was God reaching out to me through those lyrics because it was something that could connect to me personally. Here's some
Yeah,
records though,
I
by the
hear
way.
you. I hear you. I mean, it's like, you know, you,
You ready for
you
this one?
you said you're 21, 22,
28.
28. Oh, I'm my bad.
No, that's
But
fine with me.
I spent a lot of years and I didn't see the connections in some of the things you see connections in. But when you talk about them, I'm like, yeah, maybe, you know, possibility. Oh yeah, I hadn't seen that one in a while. Damn, you're making me feel older than I am, or as old as I am.
Remember, y'all, this is the record. This is their best-selling record of all time, Black Sabbath. But if we look on the cover, right,
Paranoid.
this is Ozzy from 1970, right? And what's he got on his chest right there, guys? Come on, it's been there from the beginning, y'all. You just have to look.
Yeah, but didn't he wear an ankh at one time?
Didn't he wear what?
An ankh,
I'm sorry, what's that?
ankh, the Egyptian ankh.
No, that was Geezer Butler, I believe. I don't think Ozzy has, but I have seen Butler with it on. Hey, I'll actually show you the picture. I have a picture with Geezer Butler with the Ankh cross on. Yeah, he was the one that was into the occult. So you know their song Black Sabbath? That was actually inspired by a true story because Geezer Butler literally saw a demonic apparition. And then he repented and got rid of all of his occult stuff after this demonic apparition appeared to him. But figure in black, which points at me, that actually happened to Geezer Butler. But yeah, so one of them was very much into the occult at the beginning when they were 19 years old, but he repented of it and got rid of all of his occult stuff at that time. That would have been in 1969, so about a year before they put this out.
Hey, you know what's weird? When I was younger and in bands and stuff, I wanted to sell my soul to the devil so I could be popular and famous. And guess what? That shit didn't happen.
It didn't work. Here's
I'm
the
still
song you're
just a
talking about.
nobody dude that living life.
Is God just a thought within your head, or is he a part of you? Is Christ just a name that you read in a book when you were at school? When you think about death, do you lose your breath or do you keep your cool? Right there, God healed me of my fear of death. So before I was a Christian, I was afraid of death. So when I first
Whoa,
listened to
whoa,
this,
whoa,
I was
whoa, whoa.
terrified
Wait a
of
minute,
death.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You read the words and then you said right there something, but it wasn't the same thing you just read.
I'm sorry, what?
You were reading the words of the
Yeah,
song.
when you think about death, do you
And
lose your breath or do you keep your cool?
right. Okay. And then you said something else
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah,
I did.
I was afraid of death. This was my testimony now. I was afraid
Oh,
of
okay,
death
okay, okay, okay,
before I
okay.
accepted Christ as my savior. So when I first listened to this and I saw that line, I was like, I am afraid of death, but now I'm not anymore.
I'm not
Um,
afraid of death either.
mm, well, it's easy to say that right
Oh
now,
yeah, it is
but like
easy to say it.
in the moment, like if you were on your deathbed, it might be a different
If
story.
I was on my deathbed, I would be on my deathbed. See, the thing is, I'm not afraid of death because I accept that it is coming and it is part of the circle of life. If there is a
But it's not a
circle of life,
terminal.
you know.
It doesn't feel as real until it's a terminal event, though. That's what I'm just trying to say
One,
is
well, yeah, okay.
like no atheists in foxholes, kind of that idea.
No, we'll see that's a total lie because there's lots of atheists in foxholes. There's even a monument to atheists in foxholes. But what I'm going to say is like, I know a lot of people, close family members that have passed away due to cancer or whatever, you know. So I accept that death is a part of our human life. And I'm not afraid of death because I know it's going to happen. no one can get away from death. Whether, and it's not about what happens after we live our life. It's about what we do during our life. What type of impact do we make on other people?
Well, what type of impact we make on other people can have an effect on what happens to us after our life, depending on if you repent or not. But the thing I'm just trying to make my point is, guys, there's a difference between seeing other people go through hardships and yourself. You won't know until you're in that situation. So, well, yeah, you might
Exactly.
see other people.
Exactly. I mean,
Um,
I've been through a lot of hardships personally. I mean, you said you're
right,
28, I'm 46, so
right.
we're not that, you know, we're not that
Well,
far
you have a
apart
lot
in
more
years in
experience than
life,
me.
but
Have you ever thought you were going to pass? Like, have you ever thought you were on your deathbed?
have I ever thought I was on my deathbed? No.
Well,
Have
then
I
you
ever thought
can't be
my
sure.
wife was on her deathbed? Yes. I was watching my wife die in front of me, literally, and they rushed her into emergency surgery to save her life.
Is she a
Um,
Christian?
what?
Is she a Christian?
Not anymore because of n- different, because of things she's learned, just like I have. You know, I'm, I'm not totally against the idea of there's a God. I'm not just because I identify as an atheist, that doesn't mean don't think there could be a God. I
I
just
think
don't believe
I think by
there is.
definition it does. I'm pretty sure you're an agnostic then. I'm pretty sure by definition, if
Well,
you're unsure
everybody's
of it,
agnostic. Everybody, because
no,
nobody knows.
no, buddy, dude, I literally have a personal relationship with God. Like he answers
No,
my
no.
prayers in real
You
time.
you think and you believe you
No,
have
I
a
know
personal
this. I
relationship
know
with
and I
God.
believe. I know and I believe.
You believe, you think and you believe, and
Well,
that's
just
okay.
no, okay. I know and I believe, but just because you had to say we're all
Well,
agnostic, no, you're
well,
wrong. No,
why do you think you're
either
not?
no religions are right or one of them's right. That's why I want to learn as
But
much as I can about
well,
all
that's
world
the thing.
religions.
All of them could be wrong.
No, yeah, you're right. You're
What
right. You're right. Yes, all of them could be wrong
what makes you think that your one is right?
because God revealed Himself to me. God speaks to me. I want Him. It's not because I'm special. I want Him to speak to you too, and He wants to speak to you as
I
well if
get
you
what you're
open up your
saying.
heart.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Okay. And this is a straight up question. I'm not trying to debate. We're having a civil discussion like we always have.
Hmm.
If your God has revealed himself to you and that was what you needed to believe, and there are other people who really wanted to believe and have honestly searched for God, why hasn't he revealed himself to them? Why has he what makes you so special that he reveals himself to you where
Could
other
actually
people
be.
who are in
All
desperate
right, no, no, stop,
situations
stop. You're
and
done. You're
are
done. You're
seeking
done. I'm answering
him?
that question. I'm done. You're done. So you said, what
Okay,
makes you so special? But right before that, I said it's not because I'm special. So I actually, I'm gonna instead of doubling, instead of I'm gonna respond to that first. Let's just say it could actually be
okay,
because of how weak
we're
I am. It could because of
what
how weak I am that he revealed himself to me so quickly. Because I have a friend Nico. His name is literally Seeking God 27 on here. A great friend of mine.
well no,
He
I'm not trying to discount your experience. I'm sorry. I don't want you to
Well,
feel
yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, here, I'll
no,
explain
no, no,
something
no,
to you.
no.
Never say,
You had an
so, okay, hey, hey,
experience
hey,
that
buddy,
made you believe
never
God.
say to a Christian again, we're all agnostic. Because if you say that, you are trying to discredit their experience. So don't try to
No,
back out
no,
of
no,
this and
no,
act
no,
like you
no. I'm
weren't.
not trying to discredit your
You
experience. I'm
100%
saying
were.
that
You are
no,
ignorant of the
I'm
fact that
saying
you were
that
doing
we're
that.
all agnostic because
No, we're not,
none
dude.
of us
That's
know.
ignorant. You're ignorant. You're ignorant.
Gnostic,
That's trying to
no.
discredit what I'm saying. Yes, it
See,
is.
Gnosticism has to do with knowledge.
What does?
Gnosticism,
Yeah, I got you. Gotcha.
Gnosticism,
Yeah,
that
sorry, I
has
couldn't
to
hear the
do
first
with
time.
knowledge. That is a
No.
knowledge stance. We all have
Let me get this. Hold on. Let me look up the definition. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah, look up agnostic.
Not.
Gnostics,
Oh, I thought you said
Gnostic.
Gnosticism, not agnostic.
Well, I said both words. Agnostic means without knowledge.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't think you said that. I thought you said Gnosticism, a prominent heretical movement, and that's why I said no. A prominent heretical
Well,
movement of
no,
the second century Christian church.
no, I
Gnosticism.
don't. No, 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 no. Because if you are Gnostic, see, like that's just like theist and atheist.
But
Theist,
yeah, so buddy, you're not actually
theism is
wait, you're not actually an atheist, you just think you are. That's what you
no,
just
no,
said
no,
to
no.
me.
Whoa,
No,
whoa,
no,
whoa,
no,
whoa,
wait, let
whoa,
me
whoa,
say,
whoa,
no, no, no,
whoa,
I'm
whoa,
trying to
whoa,
show
whoa,
you
whoa,
what you
whoa,
did to me.
whoa.
No, that was
Wait a
an
minute.
example. That was an
Wait a
example.
minute.
That was an example. You know how you said we're all agnostic? That's an example. I was trying to say that's what it would be like if I said that to you. See how that made you feel like, whoa, what's that mean? That's
No,
exactly what you said
wait
to
a
me.
minute.
Same
Let
exact
me
words. Word for word. The
let me
exact same
try to
word.
break this down. Let me try
I
to
don't think
break
you
this
can, but you
down
can
so
try.
you understand what I'm saying. If I can't break it down, then I won't. But I'll let. Will you let me try? Okay, let me try. Agnostic means you don't know. Gnostic means you know. Atheist means you don't have a belief. Theist means you have a
Okay.
belief.
Sorry, I thought you said Gnosticism. Gnostic, the word Gnostic, relating to knowledge, especially esoteric, mystical knowledge. Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, there
For
may
that
have
word,
been a
though.
misunderstanding. There might have been a misunderstanding what we were talking about.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
But
Gnosticism's different,
okay,
but
okay, yeah. Well,
the
that's what
Gnostic.
that's why we have to hash it out. You know, we have to hash it out in a civil way, like we're doing.
Definitely.
And
Triggered
and
Christians are no
and
fun.
see what we're doing
I'm
is
really not, dude, I'm not
we're
triggered. Play
building
out.
bridges.
Okay, if anybody would have known me before um I gave my life to Christ, you would understand that this is just me being passionate and trying to stay focused. I used to literally curse like a sailor with a stubbed toe. I don't, sorry, I don't even know what that was. But like, I would be taking the Lord's name in vain all day long, cursing all day long, screaming, praying for my death all the time. I've literally like never been enraged on this live stream once. I've been
Oh no, you've
excited.
always been cool on your lives.
Breathe in and breathe out, hands up and hands down.
Yeah, yeah, you've always been cool on your lives, and I've always tried to be cool too. I want to be as respectable as I can because I want to build bridges and not burn them.
Definitely, definitely. I think that's a good principle to abide by. Amen. Thanks for the mics. Did anybody else want to join as a guest, y'all? Most def, I wouldn't expect you to react. Hello, y'all.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to other people.
We will
Let's do
see.
this thing.
I might, at some point, I might shut it down and restart it to get a new group of people in here and then accept guests, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll wait a little bit for that. We'll want to go for at
Yeah,
least an hour.
see what happens. See what happens.
How you guys doing?
What's up?
Not much. Just hanging out. I thought that was a really interesting conversation that you guys were having because I am kind of going through that journey. So I don't know what I would consider myself, right? Because I mean I think I would be considered agnostic, right? Because I mean I believe it could be out there or there could be a higher power, right? I just don't believe that it's specifically written in a book that I have to read. Like
So you
to
haven't read the Bible, right?
No, I have not, and I don't want to,
Okay.
and I don't think that should matter.
Wait, okay. So what's the point of this conversation then?
Well,
The
oh well,
only
so
answer I can give you is read the
Well,
Bible. It's the word of God.
the
I kind of
hey
I
hey
kind of
I
Kenny
mean,
generalize.
wait, buddy. Did you not see how
I,
closed off he was? He goes, "I've never read it. I don't want to read it, and I'm not gonna read it." Like,
no, he's expressing his opinion about his beliefs, and he's just
yeah,
trying to He's
Oh,
trying to
oh,
build
No,
bridges like we're
I kind
the,
of
building.
the,
jo
the
I kind of
second
joined
part.
at a bad time too, because I joined when you guys were having that conversation. There's no kind of like, but like usually people have like a background, so if I kind of like understood, I think I might have not joined. So that's kind of my apologies. But I kind of didn't know what really was going on. I kind of just heard that part of like the different kind of perceptions, right? So I kind of just joined to kind of yeah share my belief or my idea of religion and stuff. But
I got you. Yeah, no, definitely. I used to literally hate reading, and I prayed to God to give me the patience to read the Bible, and I was able to read it front to back in 4 months. So I mean, like all the hours that I wasted playing Fortnite or just watching XXX Entertainment, sinning all of my life away. Instead of doing that, I raked up all that slop time I was wasting and put it towards something that could actually be beneficial to my life. And in literally just a week, it only took a week of committing to
Mhm.
read one page of the Bible every day, and God revealed Himself to me and
So
through Matthew chapter 6 verse 30. So if that's what I'm trying, it's just like it bummed me out so much that when I mentioned the Bible, it was almost like
no, I'm sorry about
I threw
that.
holy water on you, and it's like the mention of the Bible made you. It was like a burning sensation. You're like, I'm never gonna read that.
What if you
You were like, no, no, no. You like threw up
No,
the sword. I'm never
I
gonna read
what
that.
if
I'm
hundred
like,
you
percent.
oh,
wasted
why'd
your
you mention the
time
Bible?
reading the Bible?
I 100% I 100% like see why that was your reaction. And it's completely understandable too, right? And like I would like concede that point, especially because like my only thing, right, is like so you were going down a path which you believed was like not the right path, right? Especially when you like got connected with God and like truly
I mean,
learn
if you
about,
saw,
you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, if you
Yeah.
saw what was happening to me, it was just an
Mhm.
objectively horrible path. I was literally spending like 6 to 12 plus hours a day watching XXX entertainment, addicted to multiple substances. Literally, like I said before, was not leaving my house because of the pandemic. Since I was afraid of death, I was afraid of the virus, and I didn't want to get sick because if I got sick and died, then I was. So all those things piled on top of each other: anxiety, agoraphobia, germophobia, and all of those went away in a period of about 3 months once I finally accepted Christ as my savior, because then I wasn't afraid of death anymore.
Mhm.
And he helped me with my germophobia by me making a commitment as a penance for all the masses I missed to pick up litter wherever I go, because my patron saint is the patron saint of the environment and animals. And if I clean up the environment, that helps the animals. So I put one and one together and got two real easy right there. And then by picking up litter, that was like dipping my toes in the water, and that helped me get over my fear of germs and also get over my social anxiety, because I was out and about running into people, talking to people at the lake while I was picking up trash. So it all was like a domino effect. So it, Jesus literally defeated the temptation of the
Mhm.
devil with scripture. So that's why whenever someone comes in here and they're just like, I don't know. I don't think we can know God. I think he's not written in a book, but also I've never read that book. I don't want to read that book. I'm definitely not going to read that book. It's just like, oh
No, yeah,
no. That's
I
like
definitely
the devil.
understand that.
Okay. The devil is literally, he's sitting in the corner of your room right now going like this, like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, yes. As soon as you said that, he's like, yes.
So I
I,
definitely
I
understand.
often will imagine in my head, like I'll visualize something that'll make Satan happy or sad.
So I definitely
Oh wait,
understand
buddy,
that. And
wait, real quick, wait, last thing, buddy, you know the line, right? Satan's sitting there, he's smiling, from Black Sabbath. And then Ozzy does the. I always think of those lines
wait, what is
whenever I'm
that
doing
from?
something bad.
How old are you?
Take a guess.
I would just by looking at you, I'll say 28, 27, 25.
I'm 28. You
28,
got
I
it.
was right.
Yeah.
Wow, the first time. Wow. I'm like 22. But look, so I hate that impression that I gave off, and especially coming into a chat, no understanding, kind of like, you know what I mean, kind of the basics behind it. I shouldn't like come at religion like that. I think that's kind of a bad on my end, right? And so I think religion, and not really specifically. I think all religion in general, like, open people's eyes, and I have heard many stories of religion changing people's lives, right? And I think that is
Amen.
great and amazing, right? My only thing is, right, what if somebody lives that was already living that life, right? Or just lives that life because of their understanding of like the things around them, right? Like so like XXX, for example. We like you you can kind of understand that that's bad for you, right? So like if you stopped it just because you understand that that's bad for you. So like if you do
No,
things
I
to a
didn't stop it
personal
because I
level.
understood it was bad. Like before I looked at women as objects. I only stopped it because once I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior, I realized the beauty that was in life, and then I started
Mm.
understanding the negative effects that um that was having on me by taking away my time, by taking away my energy, by taking away my own dignity, by wasting that much time doing that. Lust is still the final of the seven deadly sins I still struggle with. But so yeah, no, it was not of my own. It was not of my own will. It was not of my own accord. It's because I offered up one of my addictions to God that I couldn't handle anymore on my own, and so I offered it up to God. I said, God, I can't do anything. I can't do this. I can't quit this on my own. I tried many times, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. The very first time that I prayed for healing, I never faltered. So it wasn't like twinkle my nose and I didn't feel no pain. It's just I never faltered. Imagine like a parent taking the training wheels off, but they got their hands behind you. Um, so yeah, by offering up that addiction, then guess what? Once that substance was gone, well, now it took away the ability to be able to watch that and do what I was doing for 6 to 12 plus hours a day because they were all like synergizing on top of each other. Sin synergy. Whoa, sin synergy. It's a good title, but yeah. So it wasn't. It was because it was after my reversion, I'll say, because I did grow up Catholic, but I never really had a personal relationship with Christ that I recognized until I was 27.
So you said you did your thing and you didn't waver. It was day after day. I can say the same because, I had addictions as well. And I overcame them because of my personal desires, my um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Willpower?
Uh, yeah, my willpower. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just for
My
yourself.
dedication.
You can stop it just for yourself, which is kind of where I was getting down is like um
Yes.
so like
I guess
I
I
kind of
just
don't
was
want to steal that from you, buddy. If you want to keep going, kind of like just hold
Oh,
on.
no, you're fine. Go ahead,
the
man.
the full explanation I guess I just didn't give is I hinted on it. The fact that these substances I tried to quit on my own without prayer or anything on my own for years, multiple years. So try to get in this mindset, multiple years, no long-term success, would always falter. Then as soon as I started reading the Bible, as soon as I saw in Matthew, anything you pray for in sincere prayer you will receive. And then in the Pauline letters, it further explains that anything you ask for that's in line with God's will in prayer, you will receive. So I prayed for God to heal me of this addiction, and that I would make it an offering to Him. So what did that mean? I'm gonna study the Bible. I'm gonna stay in prayer if He'll help me with that. And at that moment, I never faltered again. And I four
I see
substances.
where you're
I
coming
quit.
from, but on the other side of the coin, I was
Years,
also
okay,
in a
years
situation
of
that
faltering.
when I
There's no other side of the
prayed,
coin, dude. Years of
yes, there
faltering.
is.
And then
I
I read a
prayed
book for a
to
week and no falter. I mean,
I prayed to
okay,
be
go ahead and say what
relieved
you
from
want
an
to say, but
addiction, and I wasn't.
what?
If I prayed to be relieved from my addiction, and I wasn't, and I was desperately and honestly seeking from the whole of my being, and I didn't get the relief that I needed. What you see what I'm saying? It's you know
Well, I don't know what you mean. Is that a
I,
hypothetical? You did that?
no, yeah, no, it's not hypothetical. Yes, I did.
You did?
I did. In the depth of my
You were a believer?
yes, I was a believer for almost 40 years, man. We've discussed this.
Right. I know, but I can't remember at the time I said. I just didn't know at the time if you were a
Oh,
believer.
okay. Yeah, yes.
Um,
Oh man, we have so much to discuss.
Sorry, yeah, no, I was trying to get the picture of the exact moment.
Yeah,
Well, see,
there's
sometimes
there's a
God,
lot about me you don't know, and that's okay. I'll be
amen.
happy to share it with you.
So
God,
can I make an argument here? So my
so our
only thing, right? is
Our afflictions are sometimes used to edify us. Sorry, that's the only thing. Go ahead.
so yeah,
Okay.
so my difference is right, and I like it can be an argument against or for it, like each and both of you, right? So like an argument I could make, right? Say somebody was in your position, buddy, right? But they were new to faith, just like little was back in time, right? If at that time I feel like you found you like if at that time you found them, I feel like the motivation, right? And like I feel like that this like I feel like when people look to a higher power, and I'm not saying that high, you know what I mean? And I believe that it's out there. Like I believe it probably is out there, right? When we look up to this higher power and connect with it, it kind of just tends to give us self response and I'm not I can't like it's hard to make an argument without seeming like a dick.
No,
It gives
man.
you that like
Go
motivation.
ahead
Like
and explain yourself as honestly as you can. You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
yes. So I think that's kind of the sources like that motivation it gives you, you know what I mean? But at the same time I feel like you need both of them. It can't be just like all like God will handle it. But it also
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know
Yeah,
what I
he
mean?
wants you to
So,
step up to the plate for sure. Well, and the first step of AA, you have to first thing you have to do is accept a higher power. It's the first step.
but that acknowledgement, right, is my thing. So like I feel like just the motivation and like so yeah, I hope you guys kind of understood my argument. It's hard to explain.
I kind of sort of do. Like, see, like, I accept there is a higher power, but that higher power is not outside of myself. That higher power is within me.
Yes, I'm with you.
I am the higher power.
I believe that. That's where I'm at. I'm like exactly where you're at.
You see what I'm
Satan.
saying? Because
That you guys both sound
there's
like Satanists when you say it.
there's nothing that I will not or cannot accomplish without my efforts.
Hold your breath for 30 minutes. QED. Impossible. Can't do it.
Can you do it if you have God though?
Yes. Luke 137. Through God, all things are
Okay, well,
possible.
hold your
Well, can
breath
I
for
do it?
30
Not
minutes.
Luke,
We'll
not
Me
watch it
Luke.
right
personally,
now.
me
Wait,
personally,
wait.
right now, no. But if
Yeah,
I
that's what I
needed
mean.
to do something for God, He can give me that ability. 100%. No
So
questions
why doesn't
asked.
he give everybody the ability to like overcome everything, right? That's my
Well,
question.
Exactly.
that's a great question. He doesn't promise us earthly riches because the Lord of this world, that's another Master of Reality song on Black Sabbath's record. The Lord of this world, lowercase l, the God of this world, lowercase g, is Satan. This world is scuffed. This world is corrupted. This world is fallen. This world is done for. This world is going to pass away. And heaven will pass away too. The Bible says heaven and earth will
But
pass away, but
but
not one of
why?
my words will pass
Why is
away.
this world corrupted? Why is this world fallen? Why did all
See,
that happen?
my only problem.
Didn't God set all that up?
No, his ordained plan was never for us to die.
Does anything happen in this world that isn't according to God's will?
Well, no, God's will. No. Some things that happen in this world are not in line with God's will. God does
So
not take
so
any.
he does he there's some things that God doesn't allow to happen.
Well, let me give you an instance that was in just happened to me in October
Okay.
30th. A kid that I refereed um when I was a ref in soccer. There's a candle, the vigil candle. It's the little one, but he was slain in a drive-by while he was just an innocent bystander and pulling into a gas station. It was on Devil's Night, actually, October 30th, for a Halloween party in Columbus. But one stray bullet hit him in the head, and that was it. But and a lot of people kept saying to my priest, like, well, it was God's will. And what he said to us at the funeral was, this was not God's will. So yeah, God doesn't will for bad things to happen. God can do anything, but he doesn't interfere with every aspect of life, says
So
Ethan from the chat.
if that wasn't his will, why did it happen?
Well, the person who pulled the trigger was involved in gang violence, and anyone involved in that is, I mean, Do we? We could
See,
get
this is
into that, but
yeah. So this is actually my problem, right? So I feel like us like that. This is why I'm like agnostic. I'm like it could be out there, but like I really don't care, and that's kind of like my feelings towards
we're
religion.
young now. Yeah, it's easy not to
Yeah,
care when we have a lot of life left, for
yeah,
sure.
true. That's very true.
That's true.
So my only
Your your
my
your tune will change in a few decades. I
so
guarantee you that.
my only
Yeah, I'm
problem, right,
older. I don't
is
have that much left.
my only problem is
I wasn't talking to you.
I feel like the Bible or not the
Still,
Bible, not just the Bible. I feel like religion, right? It's just like saying deal with the evil in the world and just like focus on yourself, right? Like I feel like that's really it's like yeah, there's evil in the world, but like yeah, you're gonna have to deal with it because that's just evil. You know what I mean? Like it kind of gives I feel like it gives like
Nah, dude, you got to read
peace.
the Bible, bro. You have no idea what's in there, dude. Yeah, you got to
I
read the Bible.
I mean,
Seriously,
if I ask you
because you
why
just sound
anything bad
silly.
happens, if I ask you why anything bad happens, though, it's always well, it wasn't God, it was that wasn't God's will, or that wasn't God's will, or that's not how it should have happened. But when you do make that comparison, like say somebody
I
was
could tell you
let's
because the wages of sin are death.
hold up, one second.
The
So the
wages of
gang,
sin is death. So that's why we die is because of original
yeah.
sin. But go
So
ahead.
let's address the gang thing, right? Like, so why are people born into poverty, right? So that would be one question of mine, because
Because
like
of original
automatic,
sin.
because of what?
Because of original sin.
Because of
no,
original sin, they were born
no,
poor.
there is no original sin because
So
God set Adam and Eve up for failure.
No.
wait, so
Yeah,
hold on. So people that are born in like rich families, so they did good. Like, so I'm not understanding that. That doesn't what? That's just
Well, I didn't. You didn't say nothing about rich families. I'm talking about the wages of sin is death. So the reason that we suffer in this life, I'm talking in general, poverty would be under that umbrella of suffering, is because of original sin.
so no. I would argue that's not why we're suffering. Like, and that's not at all
Well, of
right.
course you would argue that. You're not a Christian, dude, but you
Well,
didn't even read the
I would
Bible.
argue. Well, no. So like again, so this is why we have like systems, right? Like system of governance, right? And like that. So I feel like you're just ignoring that whole like I feel like again we're just making excuses for like evil, like and it's like yeah, evil. Like I understand evil is out there, but don't worry. Like if you live a good
Do you believe
life,
in objective morality?
yes, I do.
Yay, at least you could say that. Oh, well, the reason I need to ask that is because if you say no to that, it's just we're in
See,
la
I
la
do believe
land.
in that, but if that was so, like I believe most people in this world are faithful. Like faith is the biggest thing out there, right? So if people were really like following their faith, and I would argue that like the United States is like one of the biggest ones, like that's like our fundamental values we proclaim. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what the United States was built on, and like even
In God
people
we
in our
trust. Yep.
government claim to. But it's all around the world too. And again, these are powerful people. So you think so like if I were look up to people, I'd be like, wow, how did he get there taking his faith so seriously? And then you look and it's like, oh, that's because they're like all corrupted. Or you look at the churches and you're like and you look at like pastors, right? And you're like the church is giving these people like you know what I mean? And like religion, again, I don't quite understand like where the power lies between them and God. But again, so how are they able to be influenced by the devil so much that they go out and rape their children and it's so like well established and known? Like I feel like that I feel like I don't know. I just feel like that's it's kind of stupid.
That was a lot to digest.
it
Uh,
was.
but valid. Everything you said. Definitely, I kind of understood what you meant. There was a little bit of um terminology that kind of confused me for a second, but I think it's very important to distinguish if we're looking at the Christian faith. There is Holy Mother Church, as in the Roman Catholic Church, and then there's all of the other churches. If we look at history going all the way back, there's four churches that have apostolic lineage, the meaning lineage going all the way back to the 12 apostles, the Roman Catholic Church, the Eastern Orthodox or the Orthodox Church, the Assyrian Church, and Ethan, can you get the fourth one in the chat? But anyway, so there's four that share apostolic lineage, but the Roman Catholic Church is the original church, the church that Jesus Christ founded, and Peter was the first pope. So the pope to this day is still his successor. So when you're looking at things in the media or stuff about Christianity, you need to understand where it's coming from. Is it coming from a Protestant denomination? Is it coming from the Roman Catholic Church? Because the Roman Catholic Church is the only church with the authority to determine the correct interpretation of the scriptures. So like that's why like if you see protests with people
Yeah.
saying, people with signs that say like God hates XYZ, they're not acting very Christ-like in that
Yeah.
moment. God's looking upon them in disdain. They should be saying that God is willing to forgive everyone. That's what their signs should say. We're all sinners. That's what their signs should say.
So would you agree
Um,
that that the US is like built on Judeo-Christian values? Because I think that's kind of like something that everybody is like acknowledges, right?
Protestant. It was built
Unfortunately,
to be
yes, they
Protestant
are.
nation. Yeah,
So
Protestant nation.
so as I would understand, right? Like we would look to the United States of like how like you know what I mean? And I just don't see the connections. Like how can we be built on Judeo-Christian values and value the things we value? I just don't see the connections. And I should be able to if faith has that much of like that much impact on somebody like you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like the devil rather has control of the world like and God did a terrible job building this because I didn't even want to be in this world because of the stuff that I woke up and just to understand, you know what I'm saying? So these are where my questions kind of fall, you know what I mean?
Um,
It's hard for me to be religious.
well, I would say, yeah, it would be hard to be religious for me too if I had never read the Bible. Um,
No, I just look at people that have read the Bible and things that are built on like the
oh,
values of the Bible and it's just so
You
you,
know,
crappy. I look at the
wait,
church.
going back to the founding of the nation, it was the Puritans were literally trying to get away from persecution, so they came to the United States. That's why it
So
was founded on Protestantism.
why is like evil like why is evil so successful in this world? Like that's my only question. It's like why has it been so like why is it so hard to like it seems like
Um,
God made it harder for us to like connect with him.
I
I'll,
want to chime in here real quick.
no,
You know,
well, yeah, go ahead,
we
and then I'll
are,
give God's answer.
yeah, let me chime in real quick and then you can do your thing, Q. Um, you know, we shouldn't be a religious nation. We should be a humanist nation. We need to find what we need as a people and figure that out and work together to get that. And then we need to figure out what our differences are and hash those out separately. If we can work together as a people, we can be such a better nation than we are now. I mean, we're not a terrible nation, but we have so much to accomplish to be a better nation. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to ramble on, you know, but
Hey, and to our health, we drank 1,000 times. Had to ramble on. Sorry, I had to
shut
do a little Led
up.
Zeppelin quote. Um,
Shut
now,
up.
what I wanted to read earlier, though, y'all, this is God's answer to your question that you had earlier, Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
And this is the verdict that the light came into the world, but people preferred darkness to light because their works were evil. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light and does not come toward the light so that his works might not be exposed. But whoever lives the truth comes to the light so that his works may be clearly seen as done in God. So that was the answer to your question you had a little like a minute ago about why is evil so successful? But
So
people prefer darkness to light because their works were evil.
I agree with that. Um so does that mean that's how the world is gonna be, just like in general? And like so, like
Yep.
I've reached a
Until the very
personal,
end.
I've reached a personal like aspect of it where I take full responsibility of like, so like me personally, I do think morals are objective, and I'm gonna live by my values, right? I don't think it came from anybody. I just think it came from looking deep within, right? Um, but as I just understand it, it's like, wow, like I was able to understand this and like it seemed pretty like pretty clear, like you know what I mean? It just seems like this world has just came so far, but it hasn't improved or moved towards and it's a sad thing. I guess it's just a sad thing. I just hate to see how much evil has prevailed, I guess. Um, but I'm gonna keep living my life to the best, like of my, because it's better for me, for my body, I do it for myself, and I hope that maybe after I die, you know what I mean, I do answer to a God. I mean, I think I have a good like you know what I mean. I think I'll come up with good traits, so I think I'll be good.
No, actually, if you've actively rejected Christ, you will be condemned to hell for all eternity. That's what the Bible says. That's what Jesus said.
See, I just don't see that as realistic. Like,
The thing is, he didn't come into the world to condemn the world. All you have to do is accept him as your savior. So, fear of the Lord isn't fear of condemnation. It's fear of separation from God's love. It sounds like you're trying your best to be a good person, and since you know that there is objective morality, that is that is God revealing himself to you in the first little baby step, because God's law is written on the heart of every man. That's what the Bible says. So the reason that you know that, your conscience, that's given to us by God. Our dignity is given to us by God. Um,
so
so
what do you
the
mean by
fact that you
savior?
acknowledge
What
that
do
is
you say?
actually what's good.
What do you mean by savior? Like look to him like as my savior. Like what do you mean by that? Because I don't see anybody as my savior at all.
Right, right. That's a great question. So what we mean by that, there's a few different things. Ultimately, he's my savior from death. Christ paid the ransom for our sins, for the bad things that we did. Though he knew no sin, he died a sinner's death. He took all of that onto himself, just like how sin entered the
Be
world through
right
one
back.
man. Um, it, he took all sin upon himself, and by us believing that he did that and believing that he resurrected on the third day, we might have eternal life. That's John 3:16 through 3:18. But also, in terms of our day-to-day life, it's also important to remember that although we all fall short of the glory of God, meaning although we even once you become a Christian, it's not like your life's perfect at that moment. If any
Mhm.
if anything, you're actually going to be more aware of the things that you were doing that were bad, that
Oh,
you didn't even realize were bad.
mhm.
So it's like the more you know, the less you know, that kind of idea. But you're going to work to constantly be improving yourself, because when you see that to love your neighbor, the golden rule is love your neighbor as yourself. What does that mean? First, you have to love yourself, and then you have to love your neighbor as yourself. The Bible also says that instead of talking about our own accomplishments, we should each praise our friends. And if you think about that, if everybody did that, then guess what? We would all be uplifting each other, instead of selfish contest. God wants a world of perfect harmony, which there will be in on the new earth, when there's a new heaven and a new earth, referenced in Revelation 21:4, where there will be no more tears, no more weeping or wailing. Right here. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death or mourning, wailing or pain, for the old order has passed away.
That's
So
interesting.
one final thing, like when my friend that was tragically just taken in that
Mhm.
drive-by, when I went to his
Sorry for the loss,
funeral,
by the way.
a couple hours before that, I posted that quote to my Facebook wall, Revelation 21:4, and that exact Bible verse was read at the funeral mass. There's over 30,000 verses in the Bible. Yes, that is a great verse for a funeral, but in that moment, like that was God speaking to me, comforting me. And that's what I know through that timing. There are no coincidences when it comes to things like that. But
That,
yeah,
that's very interesting. I mean, I do like your take, and I won't like you know what I mean. And I feel like if I read the Bible, right, or if I read any religion, I will most likely believe like mostly everything. I understand it's interpreted different. I don't think anything in the Bible would change my life in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? And like how I view things. My
dude,
What's up?
come on. Look how big this book is. Take that back. You sound so ignorant. You sound so ignorant. I can't even take you seriously.
What do you mean? Like, so I
You don't think there's this shows me that you've been deceived. The devil has deceived you. You don't think
The
there's not anything
dictionary
in
is
here that'll
better.
change your life if you read it.
well, I don't think it's gonna change how I live, right? Because I'm gonna live to like
I dare
for the
you.
best of
I dare you to read
myself,
it.
right?
Come on,
But-
put your time where your mouth is.
So hold
Read
on, hold
one
on.
page a day, not from the beginning. Just start in Matthew and come here. You can come here and we could talk about it every single day. I'll answer any single question. Start in Matthew, the New Testament. You don't even have to start from Genesis. Just start from Matthew if you don't want to put the like super long hours of effort in, and you could still get something out of it. I guarantee you, if you read one chapter a day for 2 weeks, there will be something in your life that has changed at the end of that 2 weeks based on something that you read in those first 14 chapters of Matthew. I guarantee you.
So my only, yeah, I mean, so it's not that I wouldn't learn anything. I think that was a bad way
Reading
of
the
saying it.
Bible more made me an atheist.
I mean, so first I would say that my like English is my second language, right? And just on the understanding of how people interpret it different, me reading it, I don't think I would have a. I think I would have a better understand by like listening to like lives like these, or like somebody even reading the book and then like actually like kind of like tell, you know what I mean? Because I feel like just my reading skills aren't up there, right? But my
Fair.
only thing.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. See that actually right there,
Mhm.
that is a great step in the direction of what a Roman Catholic would say, because the biblical literacy is so important. You are right. You can't just go in and read it um, and get a full understanding. You need to know the context of who it was written for, the cultural context. So 100%, yes, that is a totally valid concern. Um, and I would say that, yeah, you have a great idea. If you were to do it that way, I would say you could read one chapter on your own, but then look up Matthew chapter 1 Bible study and then watch
Mhm.
a Catholic. That's what I would do, specifically Catholic, because there's so many different interpretations. Now, whenever I search for answers, I always make sure I put Catholic, Roman Catholic in. But so yeah, that's what I would say then, to kind of strengthen my previous thing that I suggested would be, because that's a very valid concern that you just said. Read one chapter a day. That'll take 5 to 10 minutes. And then for extra help, listen to a Bible study. There's literally commentaries for every single verse in the Bible. So just go on YouTube, search on YouTube, Bible study, Matthew chapter 1 Catholic. I'm not sure what would be the best one yet. This is a hypothetical.
Mhm.
Then watch, probably be, maybe be 10 to 20 minutes study. Maybe, I don't know. This is just hypothetical, but do both of
No,
those things.
yeah, I see
And
where you're
that would
coming
be the
from.
best way to do it.
I see
Definitely.
where you're coming from. My own my point though is I don't think it would change anything morally, like of me. So like I love everybody for everybody. So like I feel like I have, and this could have been like from honestly like TikTok
Do you
and like
believe in the
like
death
listen.
penalty?
No,
See, then you're confused. You're confused. See, God hates with a perfect hatred. He's not all loving. He has to punish the wicked.
whoa,
See, if you
whoa,
believe,
he's
What?
not all
I
loving.
What is
know
a
What?
perfect hate? What
What?
is
he
a
hates with
perfect
God is
hatred?
yeah. Hold up.
he forgives anyone who
What?
asks forgiveness. He forgives anyone who asks forgiveness. This is true, but he is not all loving. He has to punish the wicked. So what you just said earlier, how you believe in an objective morality, then you must believe that the wicked must be punished or have to be
What?
punished.
No,
Well,
I
wait a
believe
minute.
killing
Wait a
is
minute.
wrong.
Wait a minute. Wait a
That's
minute.
all I
Wait a
do.
minute. Wait a minute. God, the God that you believe in anyway, is guilty of 3 of the 7 deadly sins.
God doesn't sin. Also, the clay has
Whoa,
no
whoa,
right
whoa,
to
whoa,
tell
whoa. Okay,
the clay has no right to tell
Is
the
the God
potter
of the
how to
Bible
mold it.
prideful?
No, the clay has no right to tell the potter how to mold it. QED.
No, no, no. That's not what I'm saying. Is the God of the Bible prideful?
He says, "I am the jealous one."
That sounds like pride. Is the God of the Bible wrathful?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. But he hates with the perfect hatred. There, that's what I'm looking for. He
No,
hates. See,
does the
our
God of the
our
Bible
opinions
have
are.
wrath?
We have selfish motives. God has his perfect. will. That's the difference.
How
We
do
are
you
imperfect.
know that? How do you know the will of God?
Well,
You
I
are
don't know the mind
presuming
of
to
God,
speak for
but by
God.
reading the Bible, I can have an understanding of what He
You
calls humans to do or to act,
it,
how to act.
no, you're presuming to speak for God.
What do you mean? I never said that.
You no, you didn't say anything. You are telling me what God thinks. So you are presuming to speak for the God that you believe
Oh,
in.
yeah, no, I can't tell you what God thinks because He handed down the Ten Commandments. That's why I was trying to say, not the mind of God.
Well, I've
I
already
can't tell you
told
the
you that
mind
the
of
Ten
God, but
Commandments, with
this
the
is His
exception of the first four, came
word.
from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The first four of the Ten Commandments are all about Yahweh's ego. They have
Um,
nothing to do with morality.
Ethan said, yeah, you shall not kill is the seventh commandment. Amen. Ethan said, God wants one thing, that is for us to love and worship Him. Amen. So, Mr. Anderson, my question to you would be, what is the meaning of life?
So my meaning of life, and I think the meaning of life should be to first, I think it should be. I'm more of a. So I wouldn't call myself. I'm more of a naturalist. Like I actually
What
just
is the meaning of, hey, stop. What is the meaning of life? Answer the
to
question.
to live to live a good life.
Well, what does good mean?
So that would be subjective to me, but I
Right.
think it's
So,
objective.
good, if we're talking about objective morality, it would be you shall worship no strange gods. You shall have no. I am the Lord thy God. You shall have no other gods besides me. You shall not take the Lord thy God's name in vain.
That's it.
Remember to
That's a
keep holy the
subjective.
Sabbath day.
That's just subjective.
Honor thy father and mother. You shall not kill, or you shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your
Look
neighbor.
up
You
the
shall not covet your
42
neighbor's wife,
principles of Mott.
and you shall
Look up
not
the 42
covet your
principles
neighbor's
of
goods.
Mott. All of the 10 Commandments
I know it doesn't matter if
are
they predate
listed
them.
in
The
the
devil did it.
42 principles of Mott, except for the
Yeah,
first four, which
the devil
describe
did it.
Yahweh's ego. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, and I hope you understand that. But
It doesn't matter if they preceded the Ten Command, or it doesn't matter if it precedes the time
well,
of
that
writing
means
of
that
Exodus.
if
The
it
devil
was
did it. No, the devil was
no,
in the garden.
oh, the
The
devil
devil
did it.
deceives.
You
Yeah, the
give
devil did it.
you give
Yeah, the
God all the
Egyptians were
credit and
worshiping
none of the
false
blame.
angels, or
Where did
fallen
the
angels.
devil come from? Who created the devil? Who created Satan?
No one
Who?
created Satan. God created Lucifer.
No one created Satan.
Satan
So
created
God did
himself.
not create Satan.
Satan created
God did
himself
not
through his
create
action.
Lucifer.
God
No.
created Lucifer. Satan created himself by defying God and becoming prideful and falling and losing his position
No.
as the
No.
light bringer.
Okay, so God allowed that.
Yeah, free will. The angels have free will. But yeah, God
Okay.
created Lucifer. Lucifer became prideful and
Okay.
fell, and is
Oh,
now known as the devil or Satan.
you want to talk about free will? Okay. So if God wanted everyone to believe in him, why can't he reveal himself to us all? Would that negate our free will if he revealed himself? No, because
You mean
Lucifer,
like
Satan,
forcefully?
no, no, because Lucifer or Satan or whatever you want to call him knew, knows that God is real, and he still rebelled. So if we all knew that God existed, we still have free will. We wouldn't have to have faith because we would have knowledge. We would know that God existed, and we would still have the choice whether or not to worship that God.
He's done that though. He literally led the
No,
Egyptians.
he
He
hasn't.
led the Israelites out of Egypt by a cloud in the day and a pillar of fire at night. He's shown great signs and
Mm,
wonders. He's already done that. I mean,
according
you
to
weren't
that
there.
Bible. Do
Sorry.
you believe every book you read? I
I,
mean,
used- I hated reading before I asked God for the patience to read, so I never read any other books.
well, I
And
hated reading too, but now I
then
love
I
to
read
read,
this
and
in
I didn't
four
ask God to
months.
like to read.
What'd you say?
I said I hated reading too, but now I like to read, and I didn't ask God to allow me to like to read. I like to read because I like to learn things.
Well, when
It's
I had addictions to stimulants, it made me not have patience and I was too jittery and then I couldn't sit down. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they're all
yeah, I
connected.
hear you. I've had my addictions. Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, so in terms of the being able to used to not like how you used to not like reading but now do, um, that's I mean, I don't understand how that's
Well, I mean, I used to like to eat chicken livers when I was a kid, and now I can't stand them. What's the difference?
taste changes.
Okay. I used to not like reading, and now I like to read. And is that a taste change?
I don't know, it'd have to be depending on your
Mm,
subjective
I,
experience.
I'm just trying. I'm just trying to make an equation. I'm not trying to argue. You know me. We're just
Yeah, no,
working
I'm
on this.
just trying to figure it out,
Yeah,
trying to
we're
figure
just
out where
working
you're
on
going.
this. We trying to bridge the gap, man. We trying to bridge the
Right.
gap.
Someone in the chat says, accept the free gift. Yeah, like what do you got to lose for believing in Christ? What will you lose if you believe in Christ?
Well, the simple belief of believing in Christ, you don't lose absolutely anything.
Well,
But
that's wrong. That's wrong because Christ says take up your cross. You have to literally deny yourself and pick up your cross. It's not a handout. It's hard.
no, wait a minute. I said for the belief, believing in Christ. If you
Faith
believe in
without works
Christ,
is dead.
you don't lose anything,
No,
right?
faith without works is dead, James 2:24. So if you have faith and it's not expressed through your good works, you don't actually have faith. That's why Jesus Christ said, "You will know my true followers by their fruits."
Yeah, but if you do works without that belief in Christ, what does that mean? I
If
do
you've
good
never
things.
if you've never actively rejected Jesus Christ, then you can still get into heaven. Like if you live in a remote part of the world that never had an opportunity to hear of the gospel, but you lived according to your conscience, like we were just talking about, Mr. Anderson and I, because your conscience is given to you by God, then you can still go to heaven.
No,
But for
because
you,
see, I
since you've
don't believe
actually
in a God
rejected
and I
Christ,
still do good deeds.
right? Well, you're
I
unless you repent, you've actively rejected Christ. You will be
well,
condemned.
wait a
You will
minute.
face
Okay,
second death.
let's back up just a second. I have repented several times,
You could lose your salvation. That's a
but
Protestant belief
but
that
but
you can't lose your
but what about
salvation.
once saved, always saved?
That's a Protestant idea. The same Protestants that say that are the same ones who used sola scriptura, meaning Bible alone, to justify their cause for the South, to say that it was okay to have people forced servitude. The South used the Bible to try to say that God was on their side, um, but it was clearly not
Oh,
what the
oh,
Bible was
oh,
saying at all. They
hang on,
misinterpreted it
just so
completely.
I understand you. You're talking about biblical slavery.
No, no, no. I'm talking about the Civil War.
Oh,
The
okay.
South,
I didn't want to misunderstand what you were saying. I
yeah,
didn't
the
want to.
South tried to say that like the South said God was on their side, but the the Bible alone is so dangerous because you need to know the correct interpretation of the scriptures. If you only have the Bible, anybody can interpret it in any way. That's why in the Roman Catholic Church we have sacred
Well, the
tradition.
Bible
And
condones biblical slavery.
look, I
You
do
know,
not want to get off on a rabbit trail about this.
Yeah, wait,
hey, I
can we
understand it
address
No, no, no,
because
something?
buddy. No, no.
it's a
I could
deep
defend
rabbit
against
hole.
this argument. No, I can.
No,
It's not the kryptonite for Christians. I just don't want to talk about this for the
oh
next
no,
hour
I
because I
wouldn't
Wait,
talk
say
about
no
it for so
I
kryptonite.
have
much.
something lighter. I have
There's over
something lighter.
60 verses condemning the oppression of people in the Bible. God regulated servitude at that time. If we were looking in Exodus 21, Exodus 21:16 expressly forbid the kidnapping of a person. That is what the transatlantic trade was. So Exodus 21:16 specifically forbid what the people were doing in the South. So I
I have
just
something
to
lighter. I have
throw
something
out
lighter. I
some
have something
defensive
lighter.
points.
I have something lighter. So I'm going to address the point that you said. Do you believe in the death penalty? Because isn't that a contradiction of saying thou shalt not kill, but believing in the death penalty?
Murder is the unjustified killing of an innocent.
So the death penalty again. So I mean, so then this would then we would have to look how it's applied, right? So what about when somebody's when somebody's punished without committing that crime. So you know what I mean?
Due process, you mean?
Hmm?
Without due process, you mean?
Well, they can have due process, and that due process wasn't fair to
Well,
them.
I mean, supposedly right after God handed Moses the Ten Commandments, one of which is thou shalt not kill, he commanded Moses to kill.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But
I don't know about. Do you have a verse for that?
Right after he came down from Mount Sinai, he commanded Moses to kill the people that were worshiping false idols. After he handed them the
No, no, no,
commandment,
no. God was going to kill them all. God was going to destroy them all and start a new covenant with Moses. But Moses was like,
but
yo, 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 dude, chill,
did
chill,
God
chill.
kill
No,
them
no, no, come on.
all, or
I want to
did
do the Gen Z
Moses' army
translation.
kill them?
I wanted to do the Gen Z translation. So
Did
God
God
writes the
kill
Ten
them,
Commandments.
or did Moses' people kill them? Who killed who? When Moses came down from Mount Sinai after receiving the Ten Commandments, who did God tell Moses to kill, and who killed who? Who?
I don't. God never told Moses to slay anyone. All I remember, what you're referring to, is God was so upset that they were worshiping false idols that he told Moses he was going to wipe them all out and start a new covenant with him. But then Moses said, "Yo, wait, don't do that. Then all the other nations will think that you were unable to lead us to the promised land. Don't you remember your covenant that you made with Abraham? Like that's how Moses
But
petitioned for the
who
Israelites."
killed who? Tell me. There were killings when Moses came down from Mount Sinai. Who
You
killed
got to
who?
give you got to give me the. You can't just say Numbers 31. Is that it? Is that
Well,
it? You have to confess.
I'll have to look up. I can't give you exact Bible verses right now. I don't have it with me.
Ten
So,
Commandments is Exodus 20. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound like I can't remember anything about that, but Numbers 31. I'm not sure if that's relevant. He's usually. Oh, it's not. Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
we'll figure it out later. That's because what we do. We work on our commonalities and figure out our differences later.
I'm trying to look through the chat. Hello, what's up, Bea?
so I have another problem, right? Especially as like somebody who like hasn't like read the Bible, for example, right? So say like just trying to have like an understanding, right? That jealousy is like jealousy is like super unattractive, right? So when you like if I tell somebody you have to like you can't follow these other guys, I'm gonna want like don't you think I'm gonna wonder like who those other guys are and why don't you want me to follow them? And like that's gonna kind of like I feel like jealousy is not a good way of like I don't know, maybe like I guess this is the history, but like I don't know. I feel like I don't trust the history, and plus even it doesn't, it seems like it contradicts itself a lot. And jealousy is not a good way to persuade people, I feel. That's like the worst way. It's like you better not do any of these. You better come through me.
It's actually out of his love. See, you're looking at it. You're like from your worldview, you're looking at it like you still have this. You don't understand that it's out of love. So God said, you shall have no other gods besides me, for I am the jealous one. It's because he loves his people so much, it hurts him to see them go astray. And why should you listen to like why should you listen to me? Like as I'm trying to say, like from God's point of view, why should you listen to me and not them? Um, he delivered them from Egypt out of the forced servitude that they were in.
But I don't know
If
this
they
though.
look at the
This is the
other
problem. I
nations,
don't know this. I
right,
don't
right,
know
right.
this.
But if we look at the other nations and all the debauchery that had been going on at the time, it just wasn't. It doesn't lead to life. Like if we look at Sodom and Gomorrah specifically, is what I'm thinking of. It's a
Hey,
culture of death,
hey,
not a
Q.
culture of life.
I'm going to jump off of here. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. This was awesome again. Very exciting and entertaining, I think.
Okay, like I said, I appreciate you having me, and I look forward to talking to you again, man.
Amen. This podcast will be downloaded and uploaded to my YouTube channel like in the next day or two. My YouTube channel is linked in my bio, guys. If you want to talk as a guest, just send a guest invite. Thanks,
All
buddy.
right. Have a good one, Q. Later.
Peace. What is Numbers 31? I don't even know. I have to look. Worst mod in history. Why do you say that? Numbers 31. Mount Sinai is in Saudi Arabia. There are dynastic Egyptian chariot wheels at the road. I'm looking through the chat. If anybody else wants to join, let me know. I might end up shutting this down and restarting once we hit the hour-long mark. What time did I start? I started at 11:59.
Okay, I'm gonna drop, but I'm gonna stick around and listen. All right. I don't know if
Okay.
you. I'll be willing to listen. I kind of so I might end up like as I get older. I think I might just end up I think I will end up reading the Bible just to like understand it. I think I might end up reading like all of them too, which I think will kind
Yeah,
of.
no, definitely. Mr. Anderson, sorry we didn't get to this part of the point of the conversation, but yeah, I just want you to know I'm not saying just read the Bible, don't look at anything else. I'm not saying that. Feel free. I want to learn as much as I can about all different world religions, so I can reach as many people and know where they're coming from. So I've actually listened to the Quran and read the Quran on my live stream before. I want to finish reading that from front to back. I'm learning about Buddha. I've learned about Buddhism in the past. Bit of Jainism, Taoism, Judaism, like I said before, Islam. Assalamu alaikum to all my Muslim brothers and sisters watching. But yeah, so it's very important to be well-rounded in that regard. But I started with the Bible, first accepted that, understanding that this is the Word of God, and then started wanting to learn about other religions. But when I first accepted Christ as my Savior, I still was confused. That's why what you said earlier was such a great comment about how it would be smart to like watch a Bible study or a commentary explaining what you read, because it's hard to understand it without any biblical literacy. When I first read the Bible, I thought that there were many ways to heaven. So I thought that the Quran was given like I thought they were all valid. So like it was New Age spiritualism. I thought there was many ways to heaven, but as I learned more and more about Christianity, I understood Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through me. No one knows the Father except the Son, and to whomever the Son chooses to reveal the Father to." And I realized they all contradict each other. But yeah, I would say thank you so much, and that was awesome. Just in like that 30-minute conversation, it seemed like you opened up your heart. Seems to have opened up just by the fact that you said you are going to give it a chance and read it at some point. Oh, my phone died. Oh, okay. What was I saying? The last thing I said is just your heart definitely has been opened up just in the last 30 to 40 minutes, seeing how you said, you know what, I do want to actually read it. I would say don't put it off to like when you're older, because only some of us will be blessed with old age. That's what the Bible says. It says not to mock the elderly, because some of us will be fortunate enough to live to that age. But so I would say don't keep putting it off. Sooner is better rather than later. But ju- just in that little conversation we had, I could tell the Lord's working on your heart. And it's nothing that I did. It's you specifically. It's 100% you. I'm only giving you the word of God. It's up to you. But I said something before that I forgot. Can anybody jump in? What did I say? Just about learning all different world religions. So when I first accepted Christ as my savior, I didn't understand that he was the only way to heaven. So I thought that there were many different ways to heaven. It's like New Age spiritualism. So I thought I knew the gospel, but I didn't, because I didn't have biblical literacy. So as I learned more and more about Christianity, um, that's when I realized the other religions contradicted Christianity. But yeah, I think that's all I said while you were gone. That was awesome though. Yeah, please feel free to come back. I remember the first day when I opened up the Bible and read the first page,
I was like, I'm gonna read this, and even I was in 95% doubt of God's existence, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna read this as if God's watching me read it, and I'm like, I'm gonna try like so hard to like really read it, and then the very first thing, like, it made me laugh because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try my best. The very first page is a 42 generation list from Jesus to Abraham. From Abraham to Jesus, I mean. So I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It's extremely difficult names and you'll have no idea what any of them mean at all. But after I got done reading it, I'm like, wait a second. This isn't just like a poof, like it doesn't sound just made up, like there's a lineage. So that was my very first takeaway, as I was like, oh wow, this is like set up as a very like stringent lineage. Let's try to do it right now. Now I know every single one of these people because I read the Bible front to back. Here we go. The book of the genealogy. I'm going to try to do this with no errors, guys. We'll see if we can do this, y'all. Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham became the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers. Judah became the father of Perez and Zerah, whose mother was Tamar. Perez became the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram, Ram the father of Amminadab. Amminadab became the father of Nahshon, Nahshon the father of Salmon, Salmon the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab. Boaz became the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth. Obed became the father of Jesse, Jesse the father of David the king. David became the father of Solomon, whose mother had been the wife of Uriah. Solomon became the father of Rehoboam. Rehoboam became the father of Abijah. Abijah the father of Asaph. Asaph became the father of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat the father of Joram. Joram the father of Uzziah. Uzziah became the father of Jotham. Jotham the father of Ahaz. Ahaz the father of Hezekiah. Hezekiah became the father of Manasseh. Manasseh the father of Amos. Amos the father of Josiah. Josiah became the father of Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the Babylonian exile. After the Babylonian exile, Jeconiah became the father of Shealtiel. Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel became the father of Abiud. Abiud became the father of Eliakim. Eliakim the father of Azor. Azor the father of Zadok. Zadok became the father of Achim. Achim the father of Eluid. Eluid the father of Eleazar. Eleazar became the father of Mathan. Matan became the father of Jacob. Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary. Of her was born Jesus, who is called the Messiah. Thus, the total number of generations from Abraham to David is 14 generations. From David to the Babylonian exile, 14 generations. From the Babylonian exile to the Messiah, 14 generations. Right? Right? Bible tongue twister, right? I made like 2 mistakes there. Pretty good, though. What's new with me? I was sleeping for like 2 days straight. Someone says denominations do not matter. All that matters is your relationship with God. But the reason why the denominations matter is because in order to know that you are receiving the correct interpretation of the scriptures, you have to have knowledge of the church that Christ founded. If you look at Matthew chapter 16, 18, and 19, he founded his church on the rock. Peter means rock in Greek. Peter was the first pope, and the pope to this day is the successor to Peter, so the Roman Catholic Church is the only church with the authority to determine the correct interpretation of the scriptures. If you believe in the Trinity, you actually accept the authority of the Catholic Church, whether you realize it or not, because it was determined at the Council of Nicaea that the Trinity is the correct interpretation of the scriptures. 2 Corinthians 13:13 is an example of the Holy Trinity in Scripture. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and God the Father and the Holy Spirit be with all of you. What did I just read? Matthew chapter 1. You forget there are Christian gatekeepers. Yeah, there are Christian gatekeepers. His name's Saint Peter, and he has the keys to the kingdom of heaven. He's literally the gatekeeper. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I got to screenshot that. That's hilarious. See, God uses anything to his end. So yeah, that's hilarious. Like, you thought that was going to be like an epic moment, but yeah, you actually just proved my point. 100%. Yes. Peter is the gatekeeper. He has the keys to the kingdom. That's exactly what I was just mentioning. Matthew 16, 18 to 19. Thank you. Can you explain what all those names are? All of those names are the list of the family lineage from Abraham to Jesus. King David is mentioned in the middle. That's why there's It's divided into subsections of 14. I love you, bro. God is love, actually. Do you believe in God? Yeah, I have St. Christopher right here. Why did you ask that? Did you see my St. Christopher medal, or did you just randomly ask that? Our God is an awesome God, he reigns. When in doubt, pinky out. I was watching Father Knows Best. If you guys hear it. I have an image of Jesus and Mary on my keychain. That's lit. That's lit. Guys, I think I'm going to shut this live down in a few minutes. That way we have this episode, because this was a great episode. Is Mr. Anderson still here? That was absolutely awesome. I can clearly tell that God is working on his heart. Mr. Anderson, at the beginning of our conversation, he started with saying, I don't need to read the Bible. I'm never going to open the Bible, and that's it. And by the end of our conversation, he still was a little hesitant by saying, like, when I'm older, he was like trying to put it off. I think I should read the Bible. Like that right there. I mean, this is wild. I'm not sure how old you are, but I mean, we're just gonna say 20 some year or 10, a decade of believing whatever maybe you believe. I'm just using hypotheticals. However many years of a lack of belief, and now just one conversation may have been the Saratoga, as they say about the Revolutionary War, the turning point. The Saratoga was the battle in which was the turning point of the Revolutionary War. My neck chain is just a crucifix. Nice. The miraculous medal was given to me by Ethan. And then my St. Christopher medal was what I used to always wear. And then I got this crucifix for my Christmas. The crucifix is it's because it's cut in steel, but they're not able to do a lot of detail. So like, it kind of looks a little bit unsettling, but that's okay. It was a gift from my mom. But it's like, you see what I'm saying? Because it's steel, couldn't really carve it with a lot of detail. St. Benedict. I would love to. I have a $50 fund or allowance, I guess you could say, still from, I don't know if any of you remember who've been watching me for a while. Like there was like 2 week period where I said all the donations from these lives are going towards Christian educational material. I still have that $50. I have not spent it yet. I've been waiting to see what I actually wanted to spend it on. Oh, and I also waited because then Ethan said, wait, I could actually get you a catechism of the Catholic Church. So then I wanted to wait for that to come because I didn't want to waste it. So now I got the catechism. I buy hundreds to get in the way. That's awesome. I know I want to get a bunch of rosaries and just start leaving them places. I'll pick up a bunch of trash and then leave a rosary on a table. Would you wish to hear a creator? Someone else said that to me, like, do you want to hear the voice of God? I don't know why. I don't even know. Like they said that they were gonna, like they had it. Like, oh, would you like to hear the voice of God? I'm gonna show you it. I was just very I was very perplexed. Can I explain what the rosary is? Yeah. Would anybody like to join as a guest? Blessed by the Pope? Really, Bo? That's wild. I toss them where evil lies. Amen. Yeah, y'all, I'm gonna shut this down in a few minutes and then take a 5-minute break and come back on, and we'll see. The live might get hot. I'm gonna accept guests right away. This is a rosary. This rosary is actually what Ethan gave to me. A Catholic book club in the chat. So, they're prayer beads used for mindful meditation. It's the gospel on beads, basically. That's what they're called. We've had the rosary for over 800 years. It was given to Saint Dominic by the Blessed Virgin Mary. So we start with the Apostles' Creed. That was the first thing I created for my altar behind me here. The Apostles' Creed, we start the Apostles' Creed, and then you say an Our Father, and then 3 Hail Marys, and then a Glory Be, and another Our Father, and then you ruminate or meditate on the first mystery, depending on what day of the week it is. There are the joyful mysteries, the luminous mysteries, the glorious mysteries, the sorrowful mysteries. I think I got them all. So, for instance, the joyful mysteries are the Annunciation. So that's when the angel Gabriel announced to Mary the coming of Christ. The Annunciation, the Visitation, when Elizabeth visited Mary and John the Baptist leapt in her womb. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. And then there is the birth of Jesus, and then the presentation of Jesus at the temple, that's his circumcision, and then the finding of Jesus at the temple when he was 12 years old. So yesterday, Monday, the joyful mysteries, the first mystery would have been the Annunciation. So you meditate on the Annunciation there when it's because it was Monday, and then you say, then you go to the first decade on the right side. They're each called a decade. There's 10 beads. So you say 10 Hail Marys. So Hail Mary 10 times. We'll do one right here. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. So you go through and you say 10 Hail Marys. See, in a panic situation, you don't have the mental faculties maybe to think of what to say to God. So that's why these simple repetitive prayers can be very helpful in a time of great duress. So like when I was getting blood drawn, I said a decade of the Hail Mary, decade of the Rosary. Very helpful to block out negative thoughts too. Whenever I start thinking negative thoughts, I just start praying over those thoughts to block them out. Do you take questions? Yeah, I'm answering all questions. And also, Wendy joined while I'm explaining the Rosary, and she actually prays the Rosary on her live every day. On her live every day, so you guys should follow her. I believe it was divine timing that she joined at this very moment. If she could say something in the chat, I'll try to pin her thing, her comment. Anyway, so you could pray the Rosary with her. She prays it on live every day. So yeah, so we say the first 10 Hail Marys here, and then a Glory Be to the Father. Then a Glory Be, and then an Our Father, and you meditate on the second mystery. So the second mystery would then be after the Annunciation, the Visitation, when Elizabeth visited Mary, John the Baptist leapt in her womb. So that's the first decade. Now we say the second decade, 10 Hail Marys, Glory Be to the Father, Our Father, and then the birth of Jesus, the third mystery, the birth of Jesus, and then 10 Hail Marys, Glory Be, Our Father, presentation of Jesus in the temple, 10 Hail Marys, Glory Be, Our Father, finding of Jesus in the temple, 10 Hail Marys, and then the last one you pray is the Hail Holy Queen on the center. Here's my 4th grade religion book I have right here. I'll pull out. Hail Holy Queen. I actually wrote a song titled Poor Banished Children of Eve that's based on the Hail Holy Queen. Hail Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, our life, our sweetness, and our hope. To you do we cry, poor banished children of Eve. To you do we send up our sighs, mourning and weeping in this vale of tears. Turn then, most gracious Advocate, your eyes of mercy toward us, and after this exile, show to us the blessed fruit of your womb, Jesus. O clement, O loving, O sweet Virgin Mary. Amen. And there you go. And then at the end, after you've said that, then you could ask God for anything in particular, or just, you know what I mean, freestyle the prayer after that is what I always like to do at the closing after saying the Hail Holy Queen. I've done some freestyle prayers on my Catholic Verse account. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to join before I shut this down. I'm going to join in the chat with my Catholic Verse account. I've done a few freestyle prayers. It's really fun. Hold on. I'm going to read the chat a little. And then I really want to take a break from this so we could have 2 episodes. I download all of these lives unedited. That way you can't. There's no selective editing, and I upload them to my YouTube channel, which is linked in my bio. One, sometimes two, sometimes three a day. But yeah, what's up, guys? I'm just getting ready to shut this down in a few minutes. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, and then I'm gonna get back on and do a late night live, late night live, late night live. But what's up, guys? I'm joining in the chat right now with my Catholic Verse account. I'm reading the entire book of Genesis on this account. I'm also, it's just like for all my Christian videos, I'm trying to get it to 1,000 followers so I can go live on there. So can you please follow Catholic Verse? I just said hi with 3 eyes. That's me. Please follow Catholic Verse, and I'll follow the first 5 people back that follow me on there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've been gaining a lot of followers on there. I'm really excited. I always thought prayer was supposed to be a freestyle. It's what I was taught. Matthew 6:7. Matthew 6:5 through 7 says, "When you pray, do not be like the hypocrites who love to stand on the street corners or on the synagogues. Amen, I say to you, they have received the reward. Instead, when you pray, go into your room and close the door and pray to your Father in secret, and your Father who sees you in secret will reward thee openly." What does that have to do with what I just said? How did that contradict what I said? I just want to make sure. Matthew 6:7. Yeah. Oh, no, that's in praying, do not babble. Matthew 6:7 says in praying... Sorry, I stopped right at Matthew 6:6. Matthew 6:7 says in praying, do not babble like the pagans who think that they will be heard because of their many words. What? Yeah, but by freestyle, I mean, like, I try to rhyme. Like, I actually try to, like, rhyme while I'm praying. That's what I mean, like, freestyle. So that's what I meant. Sorry, I was, like, referring to, like, freestyle rapping. That's what I meant. But yeah, prayer... Yeah, I agree with you. I think we just had a little bit of a misunderstanding. Yeah, unless you're, like, saying a prayer, like the Our Father, then yeah, it's always a freestyle. But I specifically meant I try to rhyme. Oh, Matthew 6:7 is what Protestants use to say the rosary isn't biblical. Oh, okay, got you. Pray every day, amen. Sean Fitzgerald. Thanks for the question, LGM. This has been a really cool live. I'm Baptist. Yeah, the Baptist denomination is a Protestant denomination. It was created in like the 1840s. I really wanted to know, though. Yeah, no, definitely. Ethan was just letting me know. It says Jesus Christ created the universe, but didn't God? Jesus is God. John chapter 10, verse 30. I and the Father are one. Do identify? What? Bearded preacher. What's up, guys? I've been live since 11:59 p.m. So an hour and 48 minutes. What's up, Danny? I really want to shut this down. I want to make a Jesus is God sticker because I forgot to do that. But I had to go live at 11:59 because I couldn't break my streak of going live every day for like the last, I don't know, over the last like 40 days. But yeah, if anybody wants to come on. Do you identify as a male? Yes. If anybody wants to come on, I'm going to be restarting this live in 5 minutes. Does the Bible talk about dinosaurs? Some Protestant denominations think that the Bible talks about dinosaurs. My eyes are tired. And Job. But, dinosaurs were before Christ. Yeah, they were. I've heard Catholic priests mention dinosaurs. Oh, yeah. I mean, I believe in dinosaurs. Both options are compatible. How do you build your relationship super strong with Jesus? Easy. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 says pray unceasingly. What does that mean? What does it mean to pray unceasingly? My friend Bobby gave me a great example of this. He said when he prays, he's a gay man, a Catholic, that I had on here last night. Beautiful child of God. He does not engage in homosexual behavior, but he is a gay man. But he said that in the morning he prays to God that every word and all of his actions are an offering to God. And so I think if you could keep that in mind, if you start each day with a grateful heart in prayer and asking God to guide you, and then offering all of the things you say to God, that'll be in the back of your mind, and you will want to edify the Lord. Oh wait, sorry. You'll want to edify others. I'm trying to use this word edify. I just learned it recently, but I think I misused it. You'll want to edify means instruct or improve someone morally or intellectually. Rachel had edified their childhood with frequent readings from Belloc. Try. That's another good thing. The Bible will help expand your vocabulary. But let me look back to the question. Yeah, the Bible's a theology book, not a science book. Yeah. So how do you build your relationship super strong with Christ? Yeah, going back to that. If you do that, it'll be at the back of your mind that you want everything you say to be a reflection of the fact that you're a Christian. So miracles are a witness to the unbeliever, and Christians, we are the light of the world because we believe in Christ. And Christ is the light. So by being children of God, we show others his righteousness through our actions. So in everything you do, I do it for you. You should say to the Lord, amen. But I would say just read one chapter of the Bible every day and read a little bit about one of a saint or one of the church fathers. That's it. See, God's willing to meet you wherever you're at. So if you're extremely busy, if you're extremely busy and you can only carve out 10 minutes out of your day to really focus on and meditate on Scripture, if you give God an inch, He's gonna throw a mile back at you. So that right there will be enough to make your faith flourish and your relationship with God grow immensely. Even just a little tiny bit like that. Because it started with me just reading one page. God actually revealed himself to me through the New Testament, the King James Version. So, and that's a Protestant Bible, but the New Testament isn't missing any books. I think it's missing some verses. But so the best translation, if anybody's listening, ultimately, if you're coming at the Bible for the first time, the best translation is the one that you'll read. So I have to say you should always read one of the Catholic approved Bibles, but I didn't even realize there was a difference between a Protestant Bible and a Catholic Bible. So that's why I started with this, with the King James. So God's willing to meet you wherever you're at, if you honestly are trying to connect with Him. He revealed Himself to me. He showed me that He's real. Israel. Matthew chapter 6, verse 30. Oh, ye of little faith. That was the first time I remember reading that and going, why does this feel like Jesus is talking directly to me? And then a couple days later, that's when I realized, wait, wow, this is the living word. It is the word of God. It can help all believers who are reading it. It is literally directly for me. That verse, because it was talking about, it says, Matthew chapter 6, 28 through 30. Why are you anxious about clothes? Learn from the way the wild flowers grow. They do not work or spin, but I tell you that not even Solomon in all of his splendor was clothed like one of them. If God so clothes the grass which grows today and is thrown into the oven tomorrow, will he not much more provide for you, O ye of little faith? Yeah, Exodus 21:16 expressly forbids the kidnapping of a person. The Catholic position is not that the earth is 6,000 years old. Ever since St. Pope John Paul II, we're allowed to believe that the 7 days of creation are literal 24 hours. 6 days of creation, he rested on the seventh. Or we're allowed to believe in theistic evolution, meaning that God had a hand in evolution. Yeah, so that's not the Catholic position at all. I love when I just like say something off the top of my head, but I really didn't like even fact check it in my brain. I'm just going like I think it's right, like, and then one of my Catholic friends like says what I said or agrees. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, okay, okay, I thought so. It's 1:54 a.m. So that means I've been going for an hour and 55 minutes. All right, y'all. I think I want to shut this down before we hit the 2 hour mark. So I want to shut it down before 1:59 a.m. And then I'm going to get back on live and do a little short late night live for anybody who joins in here and wants to debate or do anything. One more time, I'm going to join in the chat, guys, with my new account. Catholic Verse is my new account. I've been posting readings on there every day, reading the book of Genesis. And yeah, so I'm going to read all of Genesis, and that is my Christian account where I'm just like posting all Christian content. So yeah, good night if you're not going to come back to the late night live. But that is my account. Please, guys, follow that. I really want to get to 1,000 followers so I can go live on there. I'll follow back some of y'all right now. No followers, guys. If anybody follows me, I will follow you back right now. Margaret commented, "Oh, my last video was the ideal wife." So God literally tells you who the ideal wife is in the Bible. It's Proverbs 31. But yeah, go check that out on my account. I will be back in like 5 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you guys all for joining. God bless you all. And thank you, Ethan, for being moderator. And thank you to Quacked. Thank you to Jose. Jose, are you a moderator? Yeah, cool. You're a moderator. Yeah, I thought so. All right. In the name of the Father. Sorry, hold on one second. En el nombre del Padre, y del Hijo, y del Espíritu Santo. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blue skies, even when they're gray. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Padre nuestro, que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre, venga a nosotros tu reino, hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día, perdona nuestras ofensas, como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. No nos dejes caer en la tentación, y líbranos del mal. Amén. En el nombre del Padre, y del Hijo, y del Espíritu Santo. Guys, we did the Lord's Prayer in Spanish. You coming back on your other account? No, I'm going to come back on this account, actually, because it's safer to do debates on here. But I want to get my Catholic Verse account to 1,000 followers so I can go live on there. I didn't even realize you were still here, Jordan. I was wondering about that a few minutes ago. But yeah, I'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes on this account. And then tomorrow I'll do a stream on my Little QB account. Little QB, that live until August, because I think the strikes, I think they expire in 6 months. I don't know for sure. But Little QB, my main account, the live stream on there will be more for like Christian safe space place hangout, not intense debates. Thanks, Bea. But yeah, so I'm not going to get on there right now because I want to accept guests, and I have to be so careful on there because I literally had someone who I accepted as a guest one time on here who just started screaming slurs to try to make it go through my mic and get my live removed. So got to be careful with my main account. So yeah, I will do a live most likely on my main account tomorrow and just read some of the Bible and hang out. But for late night live, I'm going to shut this down less than 1 minute, 60 seconds. It'll hit the 2 hour mark. So I want to come back on here and accept anyone who wants to talk as a guest. So anybody who wants to jump in and chat, I will accept. I'm gonna go make a God, Jesus is God sticker, and be right back. I will be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Please come back, y'all. Thanks for joining. Peace out. God bless you all. This has been awesome. Thank you, LGM. That was really cool to get to go through the rosary and explain it. And I just want you guys to know that last May, that's less than like around 10 months ago, I could not even remember the words to the Hail Mary or the Our Father. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. Out of all the hundreds of verses that I've now memorized, and all the things that I've learned through God's grace, just 10 months ago, I could not even recite the Hail Mary or the Our Father. It's just such a blessing to be able to have time to spend catching up on the faith that I should have been nurturing my whole life. Amen. Gracie. Okay, Gracie. Sounds good. All right, y'all. It's 2 a.m. Live stream's been going for 2 hours. I want to shut this down now. I'll be back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I'll try to share the live with some people if y'all forget to come back. Anybody who wants to come back. But peace out. Thank y'all for joining. God bless you all. See you in 10 minutes. I'm going to let this run for 60 seconds just so it doesn't cut off the end. Hey, y'all. We're doing a 10-minute break. 10-minute break. Oh, you know what also I could do? There's this record that I have, The Privet Family, and it's not on YouTube, so I could literally play this music, and it's not like, there's no copyright system in place for this, because it's a local gospel record from 1975. So for the end, I can put on one of these songs. You will find this nowhere else. You can't find these on YouTube. Some of their songs are on YouTube, but not all of them. Okay, here we go. I'm going to end this live listening to Between the Cross and Heaven by the Privet Family. This will be uploaded onto my YouTube channel. Oh, wow! Moo Millie, my friend. I'm getting ready to shut my live down right now, and then I'm gonna restart it in 10 minutes. But shout out to Moo Millie. He's been a friend of mine on here for years. Yeah, dude, I've been doing tons of live streams talking about God and discussing religion and everybody's faith, all different faiths from all over the world. Here's my favorite vinyl I've got. But yeah, I was just getting ready to shut this down and restart it in 10 minutes. But I'd love to talk to you at some point about your spirituality, because I know that you are a spiritual person. So I'd love to talk to you about that sometime soon. Here's an amethyst stalagmite I have. But yeah, it's always one of my good friends that joins right when I'm getting ready to shut down. But yeah, I'll be back in 10 minutes, guys. Thanks for joining. God bless you all. All right, here we go. Here's Between the Cross and Heaven. There's a whole lot of living going on. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. It's a local Cincinnati band. Come on.
Between the cross and heaven, there's a whole lot of living going on. For when we meet the Savior, then a new life is only begun. There's working and caring and loving to do. There's happiness in singing a song. Between the cross and heaven, there's a whole lot of living going on.
Come on.
Oh, the joy I felt when I met the Savior's worth sharing. And it's so exciting just to think of the place He's preparing. But most of all, what the Lord had to say says He cares about what I do today. And life is more than just an interlude. Between the first verse and the last, between the first verse and the last, between the cross and heaven, there's a whole lot of living going on. But when we meet the Savior, then a new life is only begun. dancing, singing a song. Between the cross and heaven, there's a whole lot of living going on. Between the cross and heaven, there's a whole lot of living going on. Whole lot of living going on.
Wow. I will stop that there. I should start doing that, ending the live with like one of the Privet Family songs to end. That was cool, huh? All right, y'all. Peace out. I'll be back on in 10 minutes. God bless. Between the cross and heaven is... Oh, fill him with the venom and eliminate him. Otherwise, I don't want to hurt him. Peace. All right, y'all. I'm going to download this episode and it will be uploaded in its entirety to my YouTube channel, which is linked in my bio. Check it out, y'all. If you're watching this and you haven't followed me yet, check out my Catholic Verse account. I'm typing in the chat right now. Hi. Follow my Catholic Verse account if you want to see me read the entire book of Genesis. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back in 10 minutes. There's my Catholic Verse account right there. Please follow. I will follow you back right now. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? I don't think anybody followed me. Hey guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to restart this in 10 minutes. Thanks for joining. I'll see you in a bit. Peace. God bless you all.